The planet Pandora was an endless stretch of sand and stone, with an orange sun blazing down relentlessly. It felt like everything under it was turning to dust. A human expedition had landed here, hoping to find resources to save Earth, which was on the brink of collapse. Captain James Harper stood on a dune, scanning the endless horizon, when something shiny caught his eye. Curious, he moved closer and found a girl lying in the sand. Her silvery skin gleamed under the sun, and her body was covered in wounds that told of a recent fight. She was alien, but in her expression, James saw a pain he recognized, one that all living beings could share. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked gently. There was no reply. Seeing that she was still breathing, he picked her up and carried her back to camp. James didn't know it yet, but this meeting would change everything, for him, his crew, and the expedition. As James walked into the medical module carrying the girl, Sergeant Rodriguez raised an eyebrow. "What is that, Captain?" "I don't know," James admitted, "but she's injured, and we need to help her." Dr. Elizabeth Connors, the expedition's doctor, stepped in. She examined the girl and nodded. "She's not human, but her vitals are similar to ours. I'll do my best to save her." James stood by as Dr. Connors worked, questions swirling in his mind. Who was this girl? Where had she come from? And what had happened to her? One thing was clear, he wouldn't let her die here, on this unforgiving planet. Hours later, Dr. Connors came out of the module, looking tired but satisfied. "She'll live," she said. "Her body is healing on its own, but it'll take time." James stepped into the module. The girl lay on a cot, her breathing steady. Her silvery skin seemed to glow faintly as it healed. "She'll wake up in a few hours," Elizabeth added. "For now, just let her rest." "Thanks, Doc," James said. "I'll stay here in case she needs anything." When the girl stirred awake hours later, her eyes opened slowly. James leaned in. "Hey," he said softly. "My name's James. You're safe now. We found you in the desert and helped you." She tried to sit up but winced in pain. "Easy," James said. "You're still hurt. Take it slow." After a pause, he asked, "What's your name?" "Calirian," she replied, her voice barely a whisper. "Nice to meet you, Calirian," James said with a kind smile. "We're here to help." She studied him, her eyes full of doubt. "Why?" she finally asked. "Because it's the right thing to do," James said simply. Over the next few days, Calirian regained her strength. As she recovered, she shared her story. Her people had come to Pandora to explore ancient ruins and find an artifact that could save their dying planet. "We didn't know what we were walking into," she said, her eyes dark with memories. "Something attacked us, wiped out almost everyone. I was the only one left." Anger flared inside James. He couldn't understand how anyone could destroy innocent researchers. But one thing was clear, he had to help Calirian finish her mission. "We'll find that artifact together," James promised. The team, James, Calirian, Dr. Connors, and a few others, set off into the desert, following Calirian's guidance. The journey was harsh and full of danger, but their determination kept them going. One night, as they camped under the stars, Calirian explained more about the artifact. "It's a powerful energy source that can save my planet," she said. "But in the wrong hands, it could become a weapon." James nodded, feeling the weight of their mission. After days of travel, they reached the ruins. Massive stone structures loomed over them, glowing faintly in the twilight. Inside, they found a chamber with a strange device at its center. "This is it," Calirian said, her voice trembling. Before they could figure out how to activate it, gunfire erupted. The enemy had found them. The battle was brutal. James fought to protect Calirian and the artifact, but they were outnumbered. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, Calirian activated the artifact. A surge of energy filled the room, healing their wounds and forcing the enemy to retreat. "It's too powerful," Calirian said after the fight. "We can't leave it here. It's too dangerous." James agreed. Together, they triggered the artifact's self-destruct mechanism, watching as it was reduced to dust. Back at the camp, life slowly returned to normal. Humans and Calirian's people began working together, pooling their knowledge to build a better future. As new settlers and researchers arrived, Pandora transformed into a hub of cooperation. James and Calirian became symbols of unity, their story inspiring others to set aside differences and work together. But trouble wasn't over. A new enemy began to stir, threatening everything they had built. "We'll be ready," James said, standing side by side with Calirian. Together, she replied with a determined smile. When the battle came, it was fierce, but humans and Calirians stood united. After hours of fighting, they emerged victorious, proving once again the strength of their alliance. Over time, Pandora thrived. Cities rose where the desert once was, and the planet became a beacon of hope. James and Calirian continued exploring, their bond growing stronger with every challenge. Their adventures led them to new worlds and ancient secrets, their discoveries benefiting not just their own people, but others across the galaxy. Together, they showed that unity wasn't just a dream, it was the way forward. What is your thoughts on video? Like, comment and subscribe the channel.